Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Lang Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. A school district in California has banned critical race theory. It joins another school district that also banned CRT earlier this year. As Title 42 is set to expire next week, Governor Newsom made a visit to the U.S.-Mexico border. He and immigration experts commented on the anticipated impact on California. LA County Sheriff launched an awareness campaign against fake drugs. Victim families spoke out against the dangers of fentanyl-laced pills. A Southern California school district voted to ban critical race theory, or CRT, from its curriculum. Proponents say CRT is racist and the history of racism can be taught in a more constructive way.
The Temecula Valley Unified School Board voted 3-2 in favor of banning critical race theory on Tuesday.
Can I call for the vote? All in favor? Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All against? All opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Strongly opposed.
Rulings passed 3-2.
3 of its newly elected members this year are conservative.
I talk about CRT in the context of AB 101 and some of the things that are coming down with ethnic studies model curriculum, and how our board is going to guide those philosophies and how we're going to evaluate what curriculum we want to put forward and how we want our kids to be taught the history and the history of racism in this country. We need to have the conversations. They're valid. We need to discuss these topics, but we need to do it in a constructive way. And I fully support the resolution as written.
The resolution states, critical race theory is rejected and will not constitute the basis for any instruction in the TVUSD. Both supporters and opponents of the resolution spoke during the public hearing.
CRT is something that is not directly taught, but it is put into curriculum by activist teachers, sometimes in this district. TVUSD is not a place where we should see students be marginalized by their race. CRT does exactly that. It takes some students and says that you, just by the dint of your skin color, you are the oppressor. And you will never be anything because the system is rigged against you. That is not a system that will allow our kids to thrive in the future.
Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I have a dream that my 4 children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. And the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. It is for this reason we the people have made a strong statement in Temecula, electing 3 new board school members. There is no systemic racism in America. For far too long, we have forced Pandora's box of critical race theory, creating racial division within our community.
Racism is not a bygone relic of the past. Acknowledge that the legacy of slavery, segregation, and the imposition of second-class citizenship on Black Americans and other people of color continue to affect the social fabric of this nation. In order to restructure the system so that it works for and serves all members of our society, we must obtain the education that will provide a complex understanding of our world so that we can spend less time feeling worthless guilt and put into action the America that lives up to its ideals of fairness and meritocracy.
My whole standpoint is that when we speak on the critical race theory, it is not only the theory that we're setting white people up to be guilty or we're trying to force guilt onto them. It's the theory of our history, my ancestors, and how they came through this country. By erasing critical race theory, you're erasing my ancestors' history and the things that they did to build this country up.
Temecula Valley is not the only school district that banned CRT. In April, the Placencia Yorba Linda Unified School District in Orange County passed a resolution to ban the theory. According to the website World Population Review, critical race theory is banned in 7 states: Arkansas, Florida, Idaho, Iowa, New Hampshire, Oklahoma, and Tennessee.
Governor Gavin Newsom made a recent visit to the U.S.-Mexico border and took a moment to comment on what California might look like after Title 42 expires next week. The currently enacted Title 42 allows authorities to remove migrants coming through U.S. borders to help control the COVID outbreak. NTD's Jason Blair has the story.
Governor Gavin Newsom visited the Mexican border on Monday, where he toured a COVID testing and vaccination center as well as a migrant shelter.
Get an understanding, a deeper understanding of what the world looks like pre-Title 42 and what it likely is going to look like in a few weeks post-Title 42.
Title 42 allows the U.S. to turn away migrants to prevent infectious disease from other countries. It was created in 1944 and was enacted for the first time by former President Trump in 2020 in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Title 42 enactment is set to expire on December 21st. Todd Bensman, Senior National Security Fellow at the Center for Immigration Studies, told American thought leaders the number of people coming through the southern border might more than double after Title 42 expires.
The intelligence community is estimating as of now that when Title 42 goes away, this will spur 18,000 a day crossing. We're at about 7,500 a day now. 18,000 a day will do something to the country that we've never seen before. It'll be a tidal wave, an unbelievable tidal wave.
While at the border on Monday, Newsom told ABC News when asked about the estimated increase of migrants coming to California, he said, quote, "What we've got right now isn't working and is about to break in a post-42 world unless we take some responsibility." Newsom also said, quote, "People are going to fall through the cracks. Young kids are going to be out there sleeping on the sidewalks. A lot of people are going to be exploited." According to a press release by the governor's office, Newsom also met with Mexican authorities during his visit and highlighted that it was the 200th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the United States and Mexico. Jason Blair, NTD News, California.
Los Angeles law enforcement and industry experts launched a public awareness campaign against counterfeit drugs. The goal is to warn the public against the dangers of counterfeit pharmaceuticals, many of which may contain the deadly drug fentanyl.
On Tuesday, Los Angeles County Sheriff Robert Luna announced the launch of a new multi-agency campaign against counterfeit medications. The campaign slogan is "Bad meds kill real people."
These drugs may contain no active ingredient, harmful ingredients, and maybe even the wrong drug, or the incorrect concentration, or the wrong dose. All these scenarios place patients at risk for treatment failure, harmful side effects, and dangerous drug interactions, including death, unfortunately. Counterfeit medicines are often sold online and through social media apps. The types of counterfeit medicines being sold are endless.
Luna added that the counterfeit pharmaceutical industry is worth more than $200 billion. But what's dangerous is, in some cases, the fake medication could contain fentanyl.
You know, it's like this thing, we're in a crisis, you know, and it's like, you know, there's a surprise in every pill, and surprise might be death. You know, you no longer know what you're taking.
One father told the story of how he lost his daughter, Alexandra, to fake prescription painkillers. He said Alexandra purchased the medication believing it to be oxycodone.
Alex purchased what she believed to be the prescription painkiller, oxycodone. She took half a pill before going to bed and was killed within minutes. Alex had ingested a counterfeit oxycodone pill made with a lethal dose of fentanyl.
Capelouto said he's now working with both Democrats and Republican senators to introduce State Senate Bill 44, known as Alexandra's Law. It will prosecute drug dealers for murder under certain circumstances.
A meeting of the Congressional Executive Commission on China, or CECC, looked at the human rights situation in China over the past 20 years. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi commented, saying in the 2 decades since Beijing joined the World Trade Organization, human rights in China have taken a dramatic downturn.
As we all know, the Commission was established as the People's Republic of China acceded to the World Trade Organization. In 2000, I took to the House floor to urge my colleagues to block China from the WTO, arguing that we should not put deals ahead of ideals. Because as the world's strongest economy, America has a moral duty to link our trade relations with human rights. I just told you how casual and cavalier the Chinese were about obeying the rules of the WTO.
Pelosi pointed to Beijing's failure to comply with the norms of the WTO, warning that the world should no longer sit idly by. She also called out Washington for giving Beijing a blank check, leading big business to prosper at the cost of small companies and American workers. And she urged the world to stop putting business before ideas and delinking human rights from trade. She cited Hong Kong, Taiwan, Tibet, and Xinjiang as examples of China's suppression of human rights. Pelosi is stepping down as Speaker of the House, but in her last address at a CACC hearing as the leader of the Democratic caucus, she said she will continue to speak out for human rights in China. In California, some people feel like people lost their voice as the majority party rules and leaves little room for different ideologies. A state senator explains how our state legislature operates and policymakers create legislation.
Jim Nielsen, a California state senator, explained to California Insider CMAC Karami how the legislation works in California. He says one party has been the majority for decades.
It has been solely the Democratic Party, with very little input from Republicans. We maybe get to ask some questions in committee, but we do not get information timely. The analysis of the bills that is done mostly by the Democrat staff doesn't get to the Republican members in a timely manner. And that's by design.
Nielsen explains that getting the bills in a timely manner means having enough time to review its pages and language, which can take hours. He says by having less time to analyze, challenging questions won't get asked. He says that is not considered public input, and the lack of voices prevents public input.
It used to be anybody could come up and talk, and the chair would limit them to some minutes. For the most part, the standard now is 2 people speak for something for 3 minutes, 2 people speak against something for 3 minutes. Everybody else gets to call in or show up and identify themselves by name and organization, and they like the bill or they don't like the bill. That's what we now consider here public input. That is not public input.
According to Nielsen, proper input would include a teacher or a member of law enforcement's interpretation of a bill and discussion on its impact. But bills are now summarized in short to assure the message they want is out.
And the greatest threat we have in America today is the people are losing their authority and power here in the councils of government. Why? One is apathy of the American people. They just don't want to be bothered. 2 is governors, legislators, bureaucrats don't want to have the public involved either.
If it goes on like this, Nielsen says the public will have less and less control over their lives as other powers consolidate the authority to control certain factors. He says some legislators don't even know what they are really voting on, yet they are supposed to represent the people.
To watch the full program, find California Insider on YouTube or Epic TV on the Epic Times website. We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. Get ready to bundle up for some ice-cold weather in Northern California. Most of the Bay Area will see freezing temperatures throughout the weekend. Christmas is in the air in one Southern California neighborhood. Residents are celebrating the holiday with a contest. That and more on California Today. people in many parts of the Bay Area will wake up to frosted windshields and grass these next few days. The National Weather Service issued a freezing warning for most of the Bay Area as freezing temperatures continued into the weekend. All coastal areas except for San Francisco and most inland portions of the Bay Area will experience temperatures below 32 degrees through Friday. The interior sections of North Bay, Monterey, and San Benito will see the coldest temperatures with lows between 25 and 32 degrees. The freeze warning for these areas will remain in effect through Sunday. The inland areas of the Bay Area will have slightly warmer temperatures over the weekend, with lows in the mid to upper 30s, and the warmest section in San Francisco will see lows in the upper 30s. The National Weather Service advised the public to, quote, protect people, pets, plants, and pipes from the cold. Elon Musk says a car carrying his 2-year-old son X encountered a, quote, crazy stalker in LA. He says the stalker blocked the car from moving and climbed on the hood. He also shared the video asking if anyone recognized the person or the car.
Not.
Yeah, pretty sure. Got you.
What's your name?
Musk also wrote that he is taking legal action against Sweeney and organizations who Musk says supported harm to his family. Musk tweeted that any account doxing the real-time location info of anyone would be suspended, as it is a physical safety violation. Doxing refers to searching for and publishing private or identifying information about someone on the internet, typically with a malicious intent. Musk added that posting locations someone traveled to on a slightly delayed basis isn't a safety problem, so it's okay. Meanwhile, Twitter has suspended an account that tracked the location of Musk's private jet. Jack Sweeney, a 20-year-old Florida college student, ran the @Elon Jet account. He used the publicly available flight tracking information to build a Twitter bot that tweeted every time Musk's Gulfstream took off and landed at an airport. Sweeney also has dozens of other accounts that track the private flights of well-off Americans. These included Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, Amazon's Jeff Bezos, and Meta's Mark Zuckerberg. Musk had previously said that an account following his plane was not being banned. A South Los Angeles sheriff's sergeant saved a man on Tuesday. The officer applied a Heimlich maneuver on a man who had food particles lodged in his throat. It happened behind a Department of Public Social Services office in South Los Angeles.
Sergeant Duncan was patrolling the alley behind a public social services office. As seen on surveillance footage, a county employee got out of his van and approached the sergeant's vehicle. He then is seen with his hands on his neck, signaling a choking gesture. In a statement by the Sheriff's Information Bureau, the sergeant immediately got out of his patrol vehicle to render aid. Seeing the man was choking and could not breathe, he immediately applied the Heimlich maneuver. In the end, the county employee declined any medical assistance, and the officer made sure the employee was all right before resuming his duties. Sergeant Duncan called the action, quote, just me doing what any deputy would do. According to the National Safety Council, there were around 5,000 choking-related deaths in the United States in 2020.
Christmas is just around the corner, and one Southern California neighborhood is celebrating with a friendly home decorating contest. Residents have decked their houses in lights and jolliness. Hosted by the city's Parks and Recreation Department, Laguna Niguel neighborhood is celebrating the Christmas season with a home decorating contest. According to officials, the contest only includes the creativity of amateur decorators, not the, quote, professionally decorated homes. A list and map of winning homes will be available to the public on the city's website starting December 16th. Awards include a gift card and a yard sign. Beyond the contest, the city is also giving children a chance to write letters to Santa Claus until December 16th. Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you the California Today Sports Roundup.
Cody Bellinger is headed from Los Angeles to Chicago after the outfielder signed a one-year deal with the Cubs, while the Dodgers bolstered their own rotation by adding hard-throwing Noah Syndergaard in a busy day of off-season MLB deals. Bellinger, who is 27, was named the National League's most valuable player in 2019 and was part of the World Series winning 2020 Dodgers team, but struggled at the plate the last 2 seasons amid injury issues. LA brought in right-hander Syndergaard on a one-year deal worth $13 million. The 30-year-old spent 7 seasons with the Mets before signing with the Los Angeles Angels last season. He was dealt to the Philadelphia Phillies at the trade deadline and will now return to Southern California. Swinging over to the NBA, Kawhi Leonard scored 19 points, Paul George had a triple-double, and the Los Angeles Clippers rallied to beat the undermanned Minnesota Timberwolves 99-88 on Wednesday night for their 3rd straight victory. George had 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 11 assists for his first triple-double since joining the Clippers before the 2019 season. Luke Kennard added season highs of 16 points and 4 three-pointers as 6 Clippers scored in double figures. John Wall sat out to avoid playing a back-to-back for Thursday night's matchup, while Minnesota played without Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell. Clippers 99, Timberwolves 88. De'Aaron Fox had 27 points and 10 assists, Domantas Sabonis added 21 and 20 rebounds, and the Sacramento Kings held on to beat the Toronto Raptors 124-123 on Wednesday night. Malik Monk scored 24 points and Terrence Davis had 19 against his former team as the Kings overcame a 16-point second-quarter deficit to beat the struggling Raptors. Kings coach Mike Brown was ejected after picking up 2 technicals with 9:09 left in the third quarter. Brown left the bench and ran onto the court to argue with the officials after guard Fox was called for a technical foul. Fred VanVleet scored a season-high 39 points for Toronto, but missed a three-pointer that would have tied it with 4 seconds to go. Scotty Barnes had 27 points and 10 assists, and Pascal Siakam scored 19 for the Raptors. Kings 124, Raptors 123. Indiana's Tyrese Halliburton scored 29 points, and the Pacers made 16 three-pointers to hold on for a 125-119 victory Wednesday night over the Golden State Warriors and Stephen Curry, who didn't finish the game because of a left shoulder injury. Curry scored 27 of his 38 points in the first half for the defending champion, but departed with 2 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Curry got hurt during the third quarter while trying to defend against Jalen Smith, who ran into the Warriors star's arm. Curry immediately grabbed his shoulder while hunched over and went to the locker room during the timeout. The 8-time All-Star and 2-time MVP did not speak to reporters. Pacers 125, Warriors 119.
And that's all for the sports.
That's all we've got for you tonight. We'd like you to join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. Make sure to check out our broadcasts on our California Today webpage. You can find it at ntd.com/California-today. You can also find all of our top latest clips there, ready to share with friends and family. Send us a message on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, or through our email, california.today@ntd.com. I'm Lang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.